Hi everyone. When developing a React application, choosing the right data structure is crucial for maintaining clean, efficient, and scalable code. In this lesson, we'll explore how to use an array of objects in React to manage a list of tasks by building our to-do list application. So, for our project, we'll use an array of objects as the data structure. Each object represents a to-do item with three properties: ID, a unique identifier for the task; task, a string describing the task; completed, a boolean indicating whether the task is completed. What are the main advantages of using array of objects in React? The first advantage is that array of objects allows to organize data in a structured way, where each object can contain multiple related properties. The second advantage is scalability. It's straightforward to scale the application by adding more properties to each task object if needed. The third advantage is ease of iteration and manipulation. React makes it easy to iterate over arrays using JavaScript's built-in array methods like map, filter. Let's take a look at the design. In the previous lesson, we created element for adding a new task. It has input and button. In this lesson, we'll use this element to add task and will display the added task. Let me add several tasks: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in addition, we will implement delete task functionality. So I removed several tasks. Let's go to the code. I opened the code from the previous lesson, and if you remember, we used a string for adding new task, and now we are going to use array of objects, and I'm going to change name to to-dos and also set to-dos, and initially it will be empty array. And now we can change our handle add task. We can remove this set task, and we can create new object. And I'm going to create const new to do, and it will be object, and it has structure ID. And for ID, I'm going to use script and random UUID. As you can see, this function is available only in secure context and might not work in some browsers, but the main goal of this function is to provide us some UUID, and you can use some library or create own function, but in learning purposes, I just use this available function. And next we'll have task with our input value from our input and state. And for new task, we'll have completed false, because task cannot be completed. And now we can add our to-dos, set to-dos, and it will be array, and I'm going to copy previous to-dos using this array structure and add my new to-do to that array. We have our created to-do inside our to-dos array, and I'm going to make console log and check my new to-do, what we have inside it. But first we need to remove this old JSX code because it might provide some errors. And let's check. I'm going to refresh it and task and open my developer tools. We have object completed false ID was generated by crypto library, and we have we need to change to task, and let's try again. And what we have ID completed false task, and for the third. Okay, and now we can show our tasks inside our component, our to-do component, and provide some JSX. And I'm going to use curly braces and map function of arrays. And instead we have our to-dos array, and we can use map JavaScript function, and for each to-do I'm going to provide some JSX. It will be array of JSX code, and React will generate this array. And first of all, I need to add some div. For it will be container for our to-dos and add some class name, and class name will be task list. And for each to-do, I can return some JSX, and initially it will be div with class name. Class name will be task row. Close the div, and we can provide our to-do in curly braces, to-do task. I'm going to save and check what we have. Okay, we have our task, but we have this warning that each child in a list should have a unique key, and as unique key we can use our ID, and I'm going to provide this key, and to my task row just add key and provide my to-do ID, and React will use this key after rendering, and it will keep the state of component and help React with some performance. And let's check again. I'm going to refresh it all, add some tasks, and as you can see, our tasks were added here. And now we can add some delete functionality and some classes. Okay, we have our class name, task row, and we can adjust it to add a completed, and we'll use this completed later in our code. I'm going to add code here and provide task row, and we can use variable and to do completed, and if the task is completed, then we can add completed class name. Completed class name. If a task was not completed, then we just return empty string. And also we need to add button, and I'm going to add div to my task to add some class name, and it will be task text, and close div. And now we can add button with class name delete button, and we can add on click event, and add event handler, but we need to provide our ID to know which task should be deleted. And I'm going to implement function handle delete task and provide our to-do ID. And now we can implement that function. It will be arrow function. And as parameter, we paste our ID. And I'm going to use delete ID to not confuse to my tasks ID, to-dos ID. And just provide some code. And I'm going to use arrays filter function to create new array. And it will be new tasks. And I'm going to filter my to-dos. Use filter function because to-dos is an array. And for each to-do, I'm going to check if to-do ID not equals to our deleted ID. And all to-dos that have ID that is not equal to our delete ID will be in new tasks array. And now I can set this new tasks array to our to-dos using our set to-dos function and update our state. And let's check what we have. As you can see, we have our button, and we can provide some text to our button, just X. Okay, we have our text, and as you can see, pressing the button removes the task to do from the array. And I can add more tasks, And now we can adjust our styles. First of all, I'm going to add styles for my task row. It's a class, and I'll make it display flex, and also make align items center. And we need some spacing. It will be 0.3 rem for top bottom and 0.5 rem for left right. And also margin will be 0.2 for all sides. And I'm going to add border bottom 1 pixel solid gray, and use this hex color. And now we can add styles for our text. It will be task row, and we have our task text inside our task row. And I will place flag 1 to take all available space, and button and other elements will take its own space, and add some margin left to 1 rem. And I can make text align by left, and increase font size 1.3 rem. And now I can add styles for my delete button. It has class delete button. And I'm going to change background color to some red color using hex, and also make color for text white, and add border none, add some paddings, something like that, and 1 rem, and also set border radius to 5 pixels, and increase font size to 1.5 rem, and make cursor pointer, and we need pseudo class hover to change background color. It will be hover pseudo class, and just change background color to some red, some other red, something like that. And let's check the whole functionality. I'm going to refresh it, close console, and add several tasks. As you can see, styles were changed. We have this border bottom, and also styles for our delete button, and hovering over the button is changing the color. And I'm going to press delete, and the items were deleted, and I can add more items. Okay, everything is working as expected, and that's all that I have. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my DevApp channel. Goodbye.